0.921.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this is going to be first lap, hot lap. Do a little bit of brake dragging off a pit road as you're getting up to speed. No biggie, but it'll help get some heat in those tires, and then run this pretty hard too. So you see the way that I approach this 3 and 4 is I let off really early. Like at that white line, I get a little bit on the brake, and then I just hold that partial throttle until my car is pointed back down the track, gets that weight shift going. And you'll see that I'm up by the wall, but then it's going to want to turn down off the wall at some point, and that's when I go full throttle. So just hold that 60% until that car starts turning down. Then we just hold the full throttle all the way through, and that's a good amount of speed here. So going into turn 1, we're going to be running the top here. So what I really like about the top in Homestead is that the earlier you get off, the earlier you can get on. So I'm getting off way earlier than you have to. About at this stoplight right here, I start getting off. At the light, I start getting off, smooth off, little brake drag as the car comes up the hill, but then I bring it straight back to half throttle. Let the car, so this is be a turn that you kind of want to approach like Darlington in a way, because this setup gets a little tight in the center corner, so we want to do a little bit of a diamond here. The lower you go, the slower you'll be. So I just try to like do a half lane worth of a diamond and then throttle through it. So once I get up to the wall, I wait for the turn down and then go full throttle, and you should be good to go, just with a little bit of looseness once the car turns back down from the diamond. So first part of the diamond is the brake, then I bring back about 60% throttle and then force the wheel a little bit because we're not worried about tire wear here. And then once it turns back down the hill, that's when I can go 100%. Might get a little loose, so just try to keep the wheel as straight as you can without hitting the wall coming off the corner. You can see I'm trying to keep it straight all the way through. Take a look at it one more time from that point on. You can see right now, that's when the car starts turning down and I go full throttle. When I see that the car gets that weight shift, and now as long as you punch the throttle after the weight shift, you should be completely fine. Alrighty, turn 3 and 4. Very different to turn 1 and 2. We're going to be using a different line. I don't like the top in 3 and 4. Really tight in the center that you just can't carry hot lap speed through. So I'm going to be trail braking all the way down to the bottom. I start by letting out smoothly from the throttle and then picking up the brake about halfway down the track and then picking up the throttle once I reach that white line. Just about 50%. We're going to hold it. Now here's a very important part. You're going to see that my car's going to start sliding up. You don't want to full throttle if your car is sliding up off the white line this early, because it'll just cause some tire spin. So I'm just holding the throttle, slowly putting it up. So watch the wheel and my throttle together, okay? Wheel turned, little throttle, little throttle, little throttle. I'm starting to unload the wheel slightly. That's when I'm raising the throttle, unload, and then that's when I went full throttle, got loose because I did that a little bit too quickly. But that's going to be a tough corner exit. There's another thing that you can do here. I think it's a little bit slower, but definitely better for getting consistent lap times, is you can brake longer. So if I held my trail brake through this part where I went to half throttle, you see how I start sliding up because of that half throttle? If from here to here I stay on the trail brake, I'm going to be locked in the bottom lane instead of sliding up. It's going to be about half a tenth slower, but I'm going to be able to get to the throttle so much easier, and I'm actually going to have better corner exit speed. So all the time that I'm gaining by throttling up early is going to be from here to like right here, because this is where I start sliding, because I had to, or else I wasn't going to make the corner. But if you brake through the apex a little bit, in 3 and 4 specifically, and then throttle up right after, you should have a very comfortable, good exit. So just keep that in mind. But yep, that's a pretty good lap there, so let's take a look at long run. Alright, now let's talk about long run. So, if you watched my video on the trucks already, you'll kind of know the gist of what I'm talking about. But the difference is that this car wants to get on the right rear a little bit more, but is still tight on entry. So how do we approach a long run like that? So there's two different ways. There is the same tire saving line. So if you haven't watched a truck video, this is a very interesting tire saving line where we just basically run on the bottom and don't even track the car out to the wall. We just want the car to kind of just stay as low as possible. And we will lose pretty consistently about 3/10 per lap doing this over qualifying laps, but granted, those are qualifying laps. 3 and 4, you have to trail brake a little more, or else you're going to start sliding up early. Alright, now let's talk about long run. So, the line for tire saving here is pretty different. If you watch the truck video, it's kind of the same thing as that. But 3 and 4 definitely has different handling characteristics than the trucks. So, already loose there. And the car likes to be on that right rear like you saw there. So, the top is going to be in play, but there's still going to be a tire saving line down here. You just got to make sure that you have this shallow entry, you hold it, and then you just don't slide up too much. And you can see that we're going to lose to my best time qualifying lap, about almost 2/10 for that corner, probably another 10th or so for this corner. But here, you just want to make sure that you don't start sliding up too early. You might feel like there's a point where your car starts sliding up and you're like, oh crap, it's time for me to gas up. But that's really not it. You really want to be trail braking through that point. That's going to be the hugest difference on your right front tire. I'll point it out again when we get there. But this is going to be another lap, just right on the bottom. Try not to slide up too early. The earlier you slide up, the more right front that you're going to be using. It's not the biggest deal because the right rear does kind of like using itself up to here. Okay, watch this. So I get into this corner and the car will want to slide up a little bit right here. And if you keep it down, this saves so much tire. You saw how I lost a burst of time there for my hot lap when I kind of forced it through there. But we gained some back because we had a better drive off. And you're like, wait, better drive off? Don't you want to get on the throttle earlier for a better drive off? For Homestead, because this isn't a tri-oval, you can wait a really long time and not get that. So I'll show you here. I slipped a little bit earlier there on accident, but we're going to trail brake all the way through here. Just kind of wait on the bottom, and then as we drive up, look at that drive that we have compared to my literal best time ever. Pretty much equal. So that should show you there that you don't have to be impatient. You don't have to get on the throttle the earliest so you can get on. Okay? So I really like that bottom line in 3 and 4, no matter what. I really don't love the top in 3 and 4. If you're going to experiment running the top, I would definitely do it in 1 and 2 over 3 and 4. You probably could have guessed that by qualifying too, seeing the line for that. But you see, just keep this on the bottom here, and you're going to get a good launch. It's going to feel slow, but if you gas up any earlier, you're just going to be struggling. You're going to be sliding tires. So when we want to use the top here, I'm going to take it a little easy. So when you run the top in a run, you want to be letting out early so that you can get back into the gas as early as possible. So you see how it's pretty much equal to what the bottom is being run right now. So like, why would we run the top? That I'll try a little bit harder next lap, but trying harder isn't always a good thing. 3 and 4, you see those bumps I hit cause me to get really tight. That's another thing that's not very good.
33.5.
So you want to enter by the wall, get back on the throttle as early as possible. Like, this isn't horrible on tires, it's just using by default a little bit more than the bottom. So you see I ran a really good corner there, and we were still like equal to what I was running on the bottom. Let's see if I can not hit the bumps bad this time. Yeah, okay, so, oh no, hit the bump, yeah. Thank you, arrow. The wall arrow kept me from hitting the wall there. But yeah, so it's marginal. Let me run another lap on the bottom here. But you can kind of see, if I'm using more tire on the top, and I can just run this really easy line here on the bottom, what's the point of running the top? And it's to defend, to pass. You can see I'm a little slower. Half a tenth, probably will be a full tenth by the end of the straightaway. Probably didn't run that line as best as I could have, but that doesn't really matter. I didn't run the top as best as I could have. So yeah, we fell off about a tenth there, just because we were running the bottom over the top. But unless you're getting mega pressured from behind, I would take that tire saving on the bottom like this over running the top any day of the week. So just practice both lines. Both are good in different situations. The less you're sliding up off the corner, the better it is for your right front. But also, if you're starting to burn your right rear, we'll check the tires here in a couple laps. Maybe you want to throw in some top runs there just to try to even out the tire wear. Sometimes in Homestead, if it slides up like that, then you just pretend that the first seam is the bottom, and you just try not to compound the sliding. I
53,
probably should have held my trail brake a little longer
77.
there. The brake timing is different in the corners. 1 and 2, you only need a little bit of brake at the beginning. 3 and 4, you definitely need to brake through the whole way. I have a feeling I'm wearing more right rear right now, but we'll check after this final corner. I just want to give you one more good example here. Let off the throttle, brake all the way through the bottom. Don't let the car slide up too early. A little bit early, but this car doesn't particularly handle good through that part. And it was still a better 3 and 4 than last lap.
33.76.
Let us check what the tire wear was. So I'm guessing the right rear wore a little more there. Nope, completely even. So if we were running the top that whole time, I promise you the right front would be murdered on temperature and how much tread was remaining. So that bottom, if you're getting no pressure, learn to run that bottom, learn to be patient back on the throttle, and then if you want to make passes, if you want to defend, go ahead and do that top line, especially in 1 and 2, but remember, early off, early on, that's how you're going to get through it. Alrighty, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and hope to see you all on the track.